Welcome to Beyond the Mind, where I'm not here to teach you, I'm only here to remind you. With my awesome guest chef, excuse me, co-host really, because he's a part of this show now. He started as a guest, now he's a co-host. He's here to stay. He's a part of Beyond the Mind now. On how you doing today, chef?
I'm good, man. It's good to be here as usual. Uh, Ready to get into it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we got an exciting. I think it's an exciting topic. We're gonna open the lines up a little early today. We're gonna get the conversation rolling. You know, um, somebody was asking me just today, man, what kind of business is it like? Because I was telling them, I'm transitioning out of film. The wonderful thing is, I'm transitioning out of that and really just taking on this whole new endeavor. And it was like, well, what is the business? And I'm like, well, I'm in the feel good business. And so that's something that's really like, I woke up today and, you know, uh, me and my buddy here, we do an amazing support thing for each other where we try to start each other's day out in the best way possible so we can be as productive and successful as possible. And, he hit me up this morning. Hey, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I only want to feel it, bro. Get on up. Let's go. Let's go. What kind of day is this? This is a positive day. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Next thing you know, I'm
Yep.
jumping up and down. I'm like, yeah, yeah. So one of the things we're going to talk about today that I think we want to address is one is we're in the feel good business. So before we're out of here, before it's all through, we're going to talk about some things, go over some things, have some guests come up, have people pop up, maybe even solve a couple of problems here and there. But the most important thing here is that we're going to share things with you that you can actually use that can
Mhm.
do something for you today and open up that door for you to take that next step into that person you desire to be. So that's the most important thing. I'm going to make this pretty much a staple of our show that there will never be a show where we're not giving something to the audience that they can apply and use. That's the most important thing. It's about having tools and things that you can actually use and apply and you can see a benefit from. But one of our main tech uh, talking points today, which Chef, I gotta credit you for this. He the one that came up with this one. But and I agree with it wholeheartedly. It's so our main topic for today is going to be uh, men and heartbreak.
Mhm.
How heartbreak affects men, how men deal with it and don't deal with it.
Mhm.
Was that a good sort of sum up of how you presented to me?
Absolutely, absolutely. It never gets talked about. It's kind of a passed over thing. But what I've realized that when you go out and you see homelessness, a lot of those men are suffering from heartbreaks. Like a lot of them, they're just giving up, and you don't really understand that a lot of times. If you've ever gotten your heart broken, then you actually do understand it. But
Hmm.
not to that point, I will give it back to you, sir.
Yeah, well, I thought we could start with our own personal stories of heartbreak. And I've been divorced before. You've been divorced before. I'm not somebody that's coming out here trying to sell you some illusion of being the perfect human being and offering some solution because I'm some holier than thou person. No, I'm a person that has been flawed and made many mistakes. And I haven't always been the good guy, even though I might have framed myself that way in the act of whatever I thought I was doing, right?
Hmm.
But the reality is, we all have those things with us when we come from dysfunctional families and dysfunctional households, right? And I can't speak for other cultures and other countries. I can only speak for statistics in America. What we've learned from American culture, that there's a great disparity when it comes to dysfunctional households and the attention that it gets psychologically and how it affects people and how it may cause them to grow and develop and we create the cycle of abuse they may be trying to escape, you know. So I thought, since you introduced it,
Yeah.
and out there, you know, uh, maybe you could put in the chat, like, have you ever had your heart broken? Like, and here's the reality of it, a lot of men are on this masculine thing and are confusing masculinity with being defensive, right? Because they're trying to shelter a part of themselves that they feel is fragile and if exposed could be wounded. But I feel that if you be honest with yourself, right, I would love to see in the chat how some of men who have been heartbroken and how it may have affected you and some of the things you may have done to overcome it. But what I'm gonna do is let Chef start with his story. I'm gonna share my story of heartbreak, and then we're gonna also share the ways we overcame it. Because see that I
Well,
think that's really the most important part
mhm.
is how what we got from overcoming it and what we were able to see on the other side of it.
Well, let me put it like this: whatever you could imagine, the worst thing that could happen to you happened to me. So on on my way back from the flight of where I used to live, which was in another country, I knew. I said, you know what, this one's going to be difficult. You need to get a gym membership. It doesn't matter what you do. You haven't worked out in years. Just go in there because you know you're gonna need it. And what I did not know is that when I worked out, I would literally put myself in self hypnosis. Every workout, I would go out and tune out and go into my trance and go into whatever place I needed to go to get through the pain. And then when I was done, I would stop and I would go home. And we're talking about good 2, 3 hour workouts. You know what I mean? 5, 6 days a week. Just getting it all out. But it's kind of amazing now because literally every time I would go work out, I would put myself into self hypnosis. And I think having the knowledge now and understanding like how important that part of my healing was, um, is really amazing because I had an opportunity to look at myself and not only look at myself, how did you possibly put yourself in this situation, right? The reflection, right? The inner reflection and the outer reflection, right? Perspective. How could you put yourself in the situation? You should have been far beyond this lesson, but apparently I was not. Um, so what I did at that point in time, when I was going through the actual heartbreak, but not just the heartbreak, but the shame, right? Because men, we don't necessarily talk about shame and how shame affects us. And shame really is a cold beast if you've never experienced it. Um, and to experience it when you're middle aged or grown, it's rough. It's rough if you've never experienced shame. Um, but to take a perspective and to look at yourself and to understand um, what shame is and why you had to experience like that in itself was like, wow, okay. This was a huge lesson of a inner perspective. And the lesson was, what did I need to know? Or why did I need to know this? Like, what did I do to have to learn this lesson? Right. And so, literally, I took every step of myself that was flawed, or at least I thought was flawed, but that absolutely was not. I would consider that being my shadow self. And I faced my shadow self in every bit. And literally, I went through my whole workout process as like every cycle of what I was accomplishing that particular week or that month. And in in reality, it was weight, but in spirituality and in like the lesson learned, it was just years of lessons that that I was just or I guess it was downloads, as you said. But it was plenty of lessons, a lot of perspective. And what I learned was that there's no way, shape, or form that I could blame anybody for the situation I put myself into. And the fact that that happened to me is what I clearly needed to happen to me to wake me up, because that was a lesson I needed to learn when I needed to learn it to put me into the position that I am in now. So it was all relative, but like, to have the change of perspective from a heartbreak, because when you're broken, you're like, you really just want to give up on everything. Like, like all is lost because you have invested so much time, so much money, so much heart. And it takes a while for a man to give his heart up. you know we may be in relationships, but when you truly have a man's heart, it's really like, it's hard to give up. And when we finally give it up and it just gets destroyed, it's hard to come back from that. It's hard for a lot of men to come back from that, truly. And a lot of people I know have not recovered from heartbreaks. um there's no support system for men at all. You get your heartbreak, like, hey bro, you good, no, maybe not. you know
Right.
um I had a situation where early in the 2000s, I'm not going to say any names, but um I was in a relationship, and the woman left me for another woman. And at this time, no man could help me or give me any advice, because at that particular time, that was taboo. That was not something that was happening on a regular. But there's this period of time when that happened, and to get advice, like, first of all, everyone thought I was lying. Uh, I'm just kind of jumping heartbreaks, but first of all, everyone thought I was lying, and then when they realized I wasn't lying, there was no advice to give me, because no one had any experience in this, because at that time it was taboo. And you know having to maintain sanity when everyone thinks you're losing your mind, right, is like, but you're really the only one that's not losing their mind, because you're the only one that knows reality, and everyone else is like in some strange place but not present where you are. you know
Mm.
so um but
You know, I think a lot of men experience what you're talking about. Where they end up in these relationships to where it's uh, it's like there's two realities that you may be living in.
Mhm,
There's the reality that is in the household, right? And then there's the reality that the significant other paints outside of the household.
mhm,
You know, and and as a man, so much of who we are is tied into our financial
camera.
capability.
Mhm,
You know what I mean? And most things men invest in, they can see some sort of return,
mhm,
right? But when they invest in relationships, you know, and you spend it years, and you say you're taking them out all the time, nobody really do the math on the compound interest over years, how much that comes out to be,
mhm.
right? So when I see that a lot of times when women are sitting over and thinking about the relationship, they're thinking about the emotional parts and the things they may have did, and the man is sitting there thinking about how much he's invested, how much all the other things he could have did with the money.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. When your heart's broken, money is the last concern. Money, that you don't even feel the money until after you've like it's like, you're like, hold up, the money is the
Well,
last concern.
I think that depends on the individual situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Uh,
a heartbreak is not a materialistic thing. It's a it's the innards. Your whole operating system is shut down. You know.
right, because
So
it's a story. Heartbreak is a story. It's the story of betrayal. That's all heartbreak is. It's not an actual depiction of what happened. It's a story. And this is where a lot of men have that problem, is because They hold on to the story,
Mhm.
right? Because they begin to identify with the story
Mhm.
until the story becomes true, right? And I learned from my personal situation, you know what I'm saying? I was doing way too much. I was trying to help everybody, anybody, everybody. How can you have a healthy relationship if you don't have the the relationship as the priority? You can't, right? And you might think it's that way, but it's not. But what the individual turned around and did was, in my opinion, and from my personal experience and perceptual awareness, was pretty cruel and thoughtless, and was and done in a way to hurt because they were hurt,
Mhm.
right? And what I learned was our biggest fear is our identity, and
Mhm.
when men, for women, men are a project. For a man, she is a trophy, a symbol of status and achievement. That's the society. Now I can't speak for China or the Middle East or South America, right? Yes. Who's this? Highest Vibes. Thank you. He said, Highest Vibes said, good point. The story of betrayal. It's what heartbreak is, right?
Yeah, but you could have betrayed yourself.
But that's still the story.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? We are awareness. And this is why we do what we do. This is why I love what I do. I get to remind people that they have a lot more power than they realize. Like a lot of people like to go, I think outside the box. I'm outside the box. What if I told you there is no box?
Can I tell you something or
Go,
ask you a question?
yo, this is a
Um,
co-hosted show. You jump in.
when is the time that people become alchemists? Like the most common time where people realize, hey, I'm doing something here. Through heartbreak. Literally, that's the time when people discover their own alchemy because they transform from one thing to the next. Most do. People who rebound from it, that's the time where you become an alchemist because you have to transform that heartbreak into something positive, into love, loving yourself more than the actual heartbreak. And actually, what I learned through every time is that, hey, you are not loving yourself the way you need to. Because if you love yourself the way you need to, this probably would have happened the way it happened. And I think it's a lot what a lot of men um, realize in the heartbreak is, hey, if I love myself more, then I've treated her better. You know, and if I had the ability to love myself, because a lot of men don't know how to love. That's just the truth. Because a lot of them didn't get it at home, and
Well,
we learned it.
we're getting into a different era where the younger generation of men are starting to get into that. Well, I need to care about me more because we don't live in a society that's pushing procreation at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I agree with everything you're saying. I also would like to add on that, however you frame it, it's a story. And you go through the heartbreak, the story of heartbreak, till you get to the end of it to realize that it never really was heartbreak. It was just life. And that's a part of the beauty of life, right? Life is beautiful, and all parts of it is beautiful. The tragedy, the sorrow, the joy, the suffering, it's all a part of life. Life is indifferent to itself, right? And I feel like, you know, we're here to sort of spread that message to remind people that, yes, the heartbreak can be a beautiful thing because like Chef is saying, it will bring you to a realization. Sometimes, like for me, I had to lose everything. because because a part of me believed that the things I was holding on made me who I was,
Mm.
right? And sometimes in the losing of everything, you discover everything,
Mhm.
gain everything, right? And I've learned that, well, from my own experience with men, sometimes when it comes to, like, it can make us want more control. It's a feeling like you have no control and that you was taken advantage of the moment you gave up your guard.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a
Mhm.
story that could easily be reframed, you
Well, you
know?
just talked about being vulnerable,
Hmm.
exposing your vulnerability, which is they're a very difficult thing to for us to do. And I guess when we do finally do it, then a lot of men can't rebound from it. It's just a thing that we are not. Literally the difference between and I'm just saying in terms of emotionally wise and in terms of the sexes, I would say men do not have support groups. Once again, you do not have we do not have heartbreak support groups. Our heartbreak support groups are like, dude, pick your head up, you'll be better. Go to the gym. What's up? Let's go. You want to go have a drink? Those those are the support groups. But had we, if we did, I guarantee you the mental health between at least the men's divorced men's mental health are probably a lot better if there were a lot more support. Um,
Mm.
just because they don't exist. I mean, typically, if a couple gets divorced, the woman has the sister, typically the mother, but just straight support, and that's just instinctual. It's not even thought of, right? We don't even think about a support group for ourselves. So you have to create that, and you'd be creating that. For me, because I was going through so much crazy stuff at that time. My support group was by it within me. You know, let me talk to myself. Let me fix myself. That dude has an attitude problem. Okay, let's talk to him. Let's work it out. And I'm gonna work out as long until we fix that. You know what I mean? But that took a lot. You know what I mean? So I'll give you the floor back.
Oh yeah, I'm listening. I'm hearing you. I'm just speaking from like the way. Here's because I've had a lot of different experiences, and
Mhm.
and I've had my fair share of relationship experiences and broken heart. I mean, because men's heartbreak is not only in relationship. You know, a lot of people don't realize that uh, men have uh, a very high rate of losing their friends.
Mhm.
You know, to not only just violence, but to heart disease and very other illnesses that affect our community. You know, and so uh, there's different forms of heartbreak, right? But how we're taught to deal with these things is what the reason is so it can be so difficult is because we were never given a coping mechanism, right? It's just like everything else your body can amazingly do. You know why it can do it? It's because it experienced it, right? But we're not allowed to experience. I won't say we are not allowed to. I don't think that's the proper language, and that's a total generalization. But within the scope of the statistical aspect of what we're speaking about, men, they don't have that,
Mhm.
right? We don't have a lot of the like you're saying, the support,
Mhm.
right? And uh, we are in a time where we're not really promoting uh, kinship amongst men, a
Mhm.
brother in the sorts. When I was younger, I had certain friends that I've known for 20, 30 years at this point, right? Because we had sort of this brotherhood where we looked out for each other and, we made sure we were good. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Let me read this one. Men are not taught to deal with this is Art from
It's
Moya.
true. That's true.
Men are not taught to deal with emotion.
Emotions.
They are taught
Yeah,
to suck it
just
up.
suck it up. That is true. It's very true.
You know,
But
yeah,
that catches up with you when you become a grown man, and some emotional things happen, and you don't know how to process them. It comes out through your body, which is body syndrome. It gets back into our field once again. These emotions come out into your body and cause injury, or sickness. Um,
hmm
thus heart disease for men, or kidney disease, or high cholesterol. You know, um, it's all relative.
yeah. Well,
This is.
that's called the body syndromes. Let me just share this little interesting fact. Uh, Moya said men should be taught at a young age how to let emotions in and deal in a positive manner. Well, yes,
Mhm,
the reason a lot of us dysfunction doesn't in families doesn't always mean that you was getting beat upside your head,
mhm,
right? Dysfunction has a lot to do with your boundaries, how you set them, right, and how you allow the child to experience himself. You know what I mean? And when
mhm,
you shun the child, when you do certain things, we've all experienced it growing up here in America. It was considered to be very casual, but what it did was it created a lot of shadow personality, meaning there's aspects of yourself that at a very young age, when you were a little kid, you was taught that it's not good. Somebody didn't like it. They made fun of it, and when you were young, you said, "I'm locking that away."
mhm.
Right? And the
Well,
issue is, especially with men in particular, when you come to that issue, it's like when it comes to that issue with men, men are taught a very twisted reality as a kid when it comes to women
mhm,
and interactions with women. We're taught to suck up things a certain way, to not allow ourselves to process emotion because somehow that's negative. And then most importantly, in our communities, a lot of these men were raised by single mothers, and they
mhm,
were told that men were dogs, that their father wasn't, S sugar honey iced tea, right? That you know what I'm saying? And they got a false sense of self developed from that point, right? And they was told that a lot of men was told, now girls are taught when they little that they can date multiple boys, right? You can like more than one boy. You can go on a date with, they taught, don't sleep with him, but you can have these boys like you. What are boys taught when they little? They taught that, oh, if you like one or more girls, you're a dog. That's a dog quality. So now not allowed to explore being friends with the opposite sex in a healthy way. You understand what I'm saying? What does this become? An obsession. And this brings into obsession with fantasizing the individuals. And now this brings into our second part of the topic that Chef brought up today. He was the topic killer. Take our hats off to Chef. Clap it up for him. He came up with some really powerful topics today. Was the fact that when a lot of men, it's not talked about, but men have undergone sexual assault from women. And
mhm.
this is not shunned on, right? And it has a terrible effect on a young boy's psyche,
Mhm.
right? And and it's a very serious thing that no one likes to talk about. Now they don't have a problem, and I don't like SA, especially with minors, in any shape, form, or fashion. I'm just trying to bring awareness to something. And I think that a lot of men who even may be listening to this may not even see themselves as someone who is taken advantage of.
Mhm. It's
But
not.
they wonder why they have a hard time connecting with and having healthy relationships.
It's almost congratulated, when you're a kid. If something were to happen like that, you're kind of congratulated by your peers, and so you don't really realize the lasting effects that it might have on you. and not knowing that that is shaping your all of your the basis of relationships, yourself, so and
Hmm.
that's what happens with young men. Young men, a lot of young men have been assaulted, and they don't have an outlet to express it, and that's a scary thing because this is not even a subject matter. I mean, you talk about the priests and the boys, you talk about that, the Catholic Church, and you talk about that stuff, but you don't necessarily talk about just the how many young men this happens to and how they are affected and what system is set up for them. Does that turn into anger? Does that turn into violence? What does that turn into? Emotional outbursts, you know, or breaking down when you become middle aged and having a nervous breakdown of that, of that because you suppressed it for so many years.
Yeah,
So,
or it ends up in a bunch of bad relationships, or you unable to be faithful to someone because there's this part of you that where you get, you know what I'm saying? Your relationship is to maintain a cover image to the people that you feel, you know, you need to project that to, which is usually family and things of that nature, you know. But on the back end, you're trying to fulfill desires that are sitting and weighing on you. And how shadows show up are very interesting. It doesn't always show up in the form of, say, like men cheating. Sometimes it shows up in the form of isolation, you know, which I think is another thing that's pretty large today when it comes to men isolating themselves.
yeah, which is the worst thing. It isolating from. I would say. I mean, I'm a little bit older than most, but between 40 and up, you shouldn't really isolate as a man, and that is the time that we probably isolate the most. From 45 on up. But it's good to have camaraderie of friends, things, conversations to bounce off of. Because just as we're in a new era where people aren't staying together, and women groups they live long. There are no men groups. There are no, hey, no, let's kick it this week. Let's go to the cruise or let's go out. That doesn't necessarily happen so much, unless you're going to the barber or something like that. But um, yeah, like it is a different era now. Like we have to think differently than a generation prior to us because um they were married and they had wives and they had women to look out for them, and we don't necessarily have those things anymore because we're the generation of divorcees, and it's just different. It's different, man. Different
Yeah, well,
era.
that's why I'm out here in the
Yeah.
business of feeling good and going to help as many people as I possibly can with achieving their desires and goals, and especially if they're trying to achieve them themselves and they're actively working toward it, of course, you know, and give them some tools and methods. And because see, all this stuff we talking about is completely reversible. It's not the end of
Mhm.
the world. It's not, this is not just the way it is, and you just got to live with none of that, right? This is most of what's trapping up us is the story we tell ourselves. The story contains an
A
emotional
perception.
resonance.
A perception.
Exactly. And that's the road map in our mind. Many of us aren't living in the world. We're living by the road. It's like, think about it like this. You got GPS in your car and you're going to the store, but you just staring at the GPS following the car. You're not even looking at what's out there in front of you. See what I mean? Yeah, that's technically accurate, but it's not accurate. It's not actually what's going on out in front of you outside of the car. And that's what's happening with a lot of us. We're living in our heads, right? And we're projecting out in the world that that story of what we believe is happening. And because the mind is a servant, it's not going to show you anything different, right? And you will actively delete out and distort and push everything out of the way that may be showing you something different. And Moya said that women's
Mm.
groups are dying
Interesting.
as well. Most
Mm.
are false and competitive.
Interesting.
Mm,
I wouldn't know about that, but that is interesting to hear. Um,
Well,
that is very interesting.
I would say that is very interesting, and also that the the fact is that you have groups that
Mhm.
is false and competitive, right? I can actively say there are no real man groups where men can get together and plan a weekend in the mountains and do some manly, chilling and all that other good
Mhm.
stuff. Not saying that groups of guys don't get together and do this. There's always anecdotal situations. We're just speaking more statistically rounded and more based on a larger look at the population, opposed to individuals you may know who do something different. Right?
I want to say something too because I really want for everyone to understand. Like, this is not about bashing anybody. This is just like, hey, this is just a thing that exists that we need to bring up because if we don't bring it up, then who will, right? And it's always good to just say, hey, we have a greater perspective of maybe that's the reason why he's down, or when he's going through this thing, let him go, or don't let him just go zone out and go to the gym or something like that, because that we know that that's going to help him heal in the long run. All I'm saying is it's very important for you all to know a perspective that you may have never heard. And that's one thing that I want to bring to Talib tonight is, hey, let's bring up these perspectives that we can never get discussed and they may never get heard if we don't bring it up. So that's it.
Yeah, I think they were. It's a great subject. I love what we're getting in the chat. You know what I mean? It's wonderful. Everything has been uh, very insightful and engaging, and that's the most important part. That is something that people can feel and relate to and want to engage with. Because we're
Do you
trying to
ever?
go ahead. What you
I'm
say?
sorry, I was going to ask you a question. I didn't mean to interrupt you though.
Go
I,
ahead.
I was,
Well,
but I was going to say, do you ever find yourself uh, in the process of heartbreak going through trance, like in the worst part?
do I find myself going in a trance and
Have you
heartbreak?
ever yes, yes, in the
No,
middle
that's
of the
called
heartbreak?
dreaming. Yeah, well, a trance state is something we do whenever we start going within and allowing the conscious mind, to sort of start doing its own thing, in a sense. And I think a lot of times what people do is ruminate because the story wants to play itself. But the thing is, the story wants to leave. It doesn't want to stay there. It doesn't want to be there. It wants to leave. That's why it's up there. You know what I'm saying? We just never was taught a way to actually bring it up and let it go.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's how I see it. You know, um,
So
because
so how did you get rid of your heartbreak?
Sedona method.
Hmm. Can you want to get into that? Tell
You
us
know,
like your process of what you actually did, so maybe that can help others that are
the
watching.
Sedona method was wonderful. And the Sedona method is a method of releasing. See, everything is just a story. Life is happening, whether you are angry about it or you are in love with it. Doesn't matter. Life is always happening, and you are just that which is aware of life happening. And when you can allow yourself to become aware that you are aware and that you are not the story, then you can let go of that energy and you can start to see things differently and clearer, and doors open up. And because the world's not really against us, it's being perceived by us, and we're not
Hmm.
taught to how to perceive.
Hmm.
We're just waiting for perceptions to pop up in front of our face, and that's why it's so out of control, right? But when I let all that in and began to do the Sedona method on feeling what I was feeling toward the situation, I was able to let it go. I was able to see that it was all a story about me, the suffering of me,
Hmm. Hmm.
the suffering of me, the great me who overcame and dealt with so much wrong. Oh, how could this keep happening to me? It was a great story. It was a great, but it was just a story. And when I realized that, I was able to forgive not only them, but most importantly, first person I forgave was me. I
Mhm.
used to have a saying: the only person I ever loved and lost and wanted to get back was myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's the only person you should ever loved and lost and want back is you.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And everyone else is just an expression of that love for yourself. And I learned that the quality of people treating me was the quality of love I had for myself.
And that's the absolute truth. And when you get to that point, it's like,
Boom, boom, lights go off.
oh, what?
It's not their fault.
What?
It was me.
No.
This
Yeah.
story of me that I was telling myself. And every person, every flat tire, every false time a cop wanted to stop me, every situation was just enforcing the story of me.
Yeah. And now we're talking about how men really heal. When you can look at yourself, out of yourself, even within yourself, and realize that it was you staring back at you. And the only fix you, no one else can. And that, when you realize that moment, the lights and the fireworks start going off in your brain, it's really a beautiful moment
Yeah.
because then you feel like you've accomplished your own self. You're like, hey, I whoop my own ass. I whoop my own ass twice a day, and I ain't said nothing yet. You know,
Hmm. You know,
uh,
I allow things to be what it is. I'm open and
yeah,
being open, you know, and leave and for the men, uh, like lose this sense of positivity and open yourself up to being open,
mhm. You would
right?
never know your true self if you don't face your shadow self. You have to face your shadow self to understand your true self.
It's just an
You would,
aspect of you that has not been fully integrated into you.
mhm. But other people see it. They just don't tell you.
Yeah, they and the people you meet are a reflection of it because see, your subconscious is always fighting for homeostasis, just like your
Mhm.
body. Okay, and if you get a bad set going and the body familiarizes itself with it, that's where it's trying to stay,
Mhm.
right? So unless you understand to do the subconscious work, all this other stuff is just a ploy for you to feel in control because you feel out of
Mhm.
control, because you
Mhm.
feel like there is something to control.
When you realize letting go is the most control you'll ever have in life, you'll learn to let go every time.
Oh, we
Hey,
got
what's
a
up, fellas?
hey
Hey,
Tim,
hey,
how
what's
are
happening?
you, sir?
What's good? How y'all feeling?
It's
I
all
am
good.
magnanimous.
How you doing,
Okay,
brother?
I'm good. Pierce hit me up about maybe 25 minutes ago. I was cooking a little dinner, so
Oh,
that's
what
what the
was you
hold up
making?
was. Hmm?
What was you cooking?
I just made a double cheeseburger, but I had to make sure it was done. So, what's your topic for tonight, fellas?
Oh wow. Go
Uh,
ahead, tell them, chef.
heartbreak, heartbreak.
For
Men,
men.
so men surviving heartbreak,
Wow, a lot of
and how,
ammunition for
and
that.
yeah, and how you survive, and how you healed, and what you had to do, and
Okay,
how there is no true support groups for men, and how we're kind of on
it's
our own.
not, bro. It's not. It's like we were born and they have a use for us, and that's it. And when they done, they turn us out to pasture, and we gotta figure it out on our own. Now we just walking around just like confused because life told us if we were good men and we did the things we were supposed to do and we protected the women and we didn't do this and we didn't, and a lot of us, we made mistakes along the way, but by the time we got to the end, we did all of those things.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So why is my reward from doing all these things that I was raised to do, being by myself and having nobody be my backbone. Not that as a man that I need that, but why don't I have it? Why don't I even have the option after everything that I was told was my responsibility?
Mm.
Where's everybody else's responsibility?
That's a good question. That's a very
Wow,
good question.
Tim.
That's a very good question. The responsibility falls on the oldest, excuse me, on the youngest child. If you have children, that's what they say.
Okay.
So if you don't have children and you haven't had that agreement yet, then yeah, you're on your own, man. So it's hard. Like what we are middle age. All of us here are middle age, right? I guess considering now. Um, from now to 60, and like if because there are a lot of divorces coming. You know that, especially with the way the money is now, the way finances are, and things getting tighter and tighter, and either you're gonna stay together or you're gonna split. And a lot of people are not making it to stay together because of it's just too tough financially, and some are
It's
staying together specifically for finances. So
right. Well, we living in an era of that bag, and we don't have a value, but that bag does.
mhm.
They used to be there for us. Now they definitely there for that bag.
Hmm.
You know, every woman comes with a list of requirements this long, and when you get her list, it's only like three things on there that she can bring to the situation. So why? Because I'm a male, is my list of requirements 2 pages,
That's the
and you ain't even
responsibility of
got
being
three.
a man. That's just the
But that's
responsibility of being a man, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind that part. I understand, but I don't mind that. I'll take that and I'll tell you why. My children are beautiful. Like the opportunities
mm,
I've had to be able to like I got cool ass kids, and
It's
you
true.
can
You do.
always we can always choose whatever we choose and not have cool kids. But even though the times were tough, I'm so grateful for the children that I've been blessed with. Um, n- Now I get your point, but that's just is what it is, right? Some things just are, and we will never change, and that's just one of the things. So we take it like man and stand up, like all right, this is what it is. We just keep it marching, and just like child support, you always have to pay child support, no matter what, unless you fight to not have to pay. That's just one of the things that just is. So we just gotta accept things for they are, the way they are, and man up and keep it pushing, and
I,
understand that's just part of our responsibility. But I do understand, you know.
right. That's always how
Yeah.
it has been. But I mean, in the Bible or any holy book, we ain't even gonna go with the Bible. In any holy book, there is there are things that women are bound to by their vows when they commit. Now, why is it that we have to still stick to what we are supposed to provide as men when women don't do most of the things that they're supposed to do with us, for us anymore, with us anymore? Those things are outdated. But men
Integrity.
are still, yeah, men are still held to our responsibility, and as men, we still handle those
Integrity.
responsibilities
Integrity means something to us.
to
It
us.
should to us. So that's the reason why it happens. And
I think what we're looking at is a cross generational switchover that's happening as we move into a new era and a new. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a new industrial era that we're in. As technologies is changing, societal norms is changing, right? We are all being socially engineered, right?
hmm
And the fact that the reason that there were families before, right, and the reasons that people had large families, right, and we come from people of large families, right,
hmm
was because it was the agricultural age.
hmm
And in the agricultural age, you needed people to work the farms, to work the land, right? You see what I'm saying? So we had large families. We all knew our second and third cousins. Then came the industrial age. What did that introduce? The nuclear family. It got rid of the grandmother. Grandmother and grandfather used to be in the house.
Yeah, they sure
Right.
did. Then they start going into homes.
They got their
No
own.
more.
They don't live with you no more.
No, they start going into homes.
Right? And now
Right.
you're in the information age. Right? This is the information age. Technology is the information age. AI has, within this 5 to 6 years it's been around, has already expounded 100 years in technology, in advancement. Out of
Well-
it's done 100 years. So my point is this, because there's a point to this. The point is that because now we don't need workers.
Well, we're past that. I'm gonna talk to some. We're at the synthetic intelligence. But go ahead.
Well, I'm saying, let me just keep it within the people don't even know what AGI
I have
is.
to throw that in there.
Do Skynet on them. You know what I'm saying?
Not Skynet.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
had to throw that in there.
Look at what they're pushing on us. They're pushing on us that men and women, why are people making so much money telling you that women are bad? And women are telling you that men are bad. And there's this whole culture now that's anti-dating, anti-family. Where's it coming from? Because guess what? We're also losing entry-level jobs. Right? Okay. Businesses are closing down left and right. Right? Walmart's becoming more and more and more automated. Right? Amazon then already said they bringing in about 5,000 robots.
Yeah.
Right? They laying people off every couple of months, every quarter. Right?
We're gonna need each other.
Right? And because of that, and remember, our thing was to protect, right? But look what society is slowly doing to you. You don't need to protect if there's cameras everywhere, there's police everywhere, that you can't even commit a crime or nothing. You're being followed everywhere on your phone. Right? Right? There's a different level of safety and comfort we all experience, and a lot of people take for granted. It's happening though. Right? And it's bringing a different culture. So what I like to do, especially when it comes to men, is I deal with a man individually, right? Because I have to see where he's at, right? Because what you want don't apply to every other man in America.
That's true.
You want something very specific for you. Now, we could generalize it and throw you into a group, but that's not how you're going to get nobody. You only get somebody from your own individual experience. Right? So then we need to change how you're looking at the experience. Right? Because sure, every woman out there ain't doing what they supposed to do. Right? That's what you're saying. But is that really true? Can you say everyone?
No, I'm not saying every.
Right. So
but
it's women out there though, right?
It's a large percentage. The pickings are slim.
But here's the thing. Do I need a large percentage of people to get famous on YouTube? No.
Yes and no.
No. When we talk about percentages, I'm giving you a little. This is how percentages work so crazy, bro. It's insane because compound interest. We don't need a lot, right? Why? In a casino, every casino machine, they moved it. It used to be 98, but they moved it to 97, 96. This is just crazy. Has a 90% payout. Where's exactly? But now watch when I put this in the machine's lifetime. In the lifetime of the machine. So how many years is that?
It's a lot of years.
You see what I'm saying to you? So
right.
So when we break it down number wise, I don't really need a large number to get what I want. Right? I don't. I need a specific thing. And so when I focus my mind into the specifics of what I'm looking for, what I need, not what everybody else has or dealing with or going through, right? And then I meet the requirements of the thing I'm trying to get, right? Meaning the state that is required to experience it. Then it comes.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? But if we just go back into the world of the story, then no, you're right. You're 100% right. You never gonna find it. you're not.
I'm gonna be honest. That's really how it feels. Like it really feels, and I'm not the type of person that sits in a house or sits in one city or sits in one state. You
Mhm.
know, so I move around. So it's not like I'm just experiencing uh one city, you know, or one side of a city. You know, I'm traveling. I'm out and about. So I mean, I think it's some good people left out of there. Out there, I just think we're so scattered and far apart.
I got something that's gonna rock you. All right, check this out. You
Come
go.
with it.
You've been to different cities, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a different mind when you went to a different city, or was it just the same mind you went with? Right? Of course, it's the same mind, right? Just you went there.
Well, no, actually, when I get out of town, I can relax.
Mhm.
There's no strings there. I mean, people just judging me by what they see and feel.
So it's a positive experience then.
Most of the time, it's not that I'm not meeting positive people. It's not that I'm not meeting beautiful people. It's the level of compatibility. Compatibility.
Mhm.
You know, it's like there's no such thing as a perfect being. So understand, I'm not looking for perfection. But you know, I think you have to have somebody that at least gives enough of a percentage to pour into you the things that make you happy so you stay put. If you don't have that to offer, then there's no reason of us settling down because eventually if you don't grow, I'm going to step outside of this situation. So I don't put myself in that situation. You know, I don't force a situation, and if it's too many red flags or the real important things. You know, I'm not a materialistic person, but I work hard. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to live a flashy life, I could. I don't see the purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's because I grew up on food stamps and welfare beans and things of that nature. I don't know. I'm not meeting anybody that is greater than my peace.
Hmm. And that you're speaking from a person who has lost their peace. So
Exactly.
Um, I'm
not now,
speaking
but I'm
as
saying at one point in your
right
life you
at
lost
once
your
upon a
peace.
time.
Well,
Yes,
in life, it
absolutely,
was definitely
absolutely.
you probably worked pretty hard to get it back.
Yeah, it
All
took
right.
almost a decade,
And what was your
honestly.
process? What was your process, and how do you got your peace back? And did that come from heartbreak?
Absolutely, it came from heartbreak.
Mhm.
Hmm.
See, the things that broke my heart with women weren't just the women I dated; it was the women that I was related to.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You know, so when you get your ass kicked by women at home, and then you go out into the world and you continue to have similar experiences, it's just like, damn, you step back, you're like, okay, well, damn, I'm doing the things that I was raised to do. I communicate well. I'm an affectionate person. I'm a provider. You know, I'm intelligent. Everything doesn't have to be my way. I communicate well. You know, the things that I don't know, I function with a certain level of empathy. You know what I'm saying? It's never brick walls with me unless I absolutely know for a fact that that's something that's toxic or unhealthy.
What if
I'm
I
not,
told you that it's an unconscious thing?
I would believe that. It's a lot of things that we do as people unconsciously.
Some
Most people,
scientists have proven that 95% of your consciousness is unconscious. And from our neuroscience and study, we have learned that 88% of your mind is the subconscious, unconscious mind. Only 12% of your mind is your conscious mind,
that's amazing.
right? So
Right.
in your mind, right, you got this between that conscious and subconscious, you got this thing called a critical mind.
Hmm.
Okay, when you was a little kid, about 8 years old, you develop this critical mind. That thing was put there to make sure nothing just gets to get in there and change what you've become familiar with. It's protecting it. So when anything new comes in, it checks it against this and goes, if it's, hey, hell no, it rejects it. You see what I'm saying? What we do as men and women, right? We get our sexuality from our watching the engagement of our maternal, our mother, how to engage with our father or whoever the secondary is.
Your secondary can be your grandparent, your grandmother,
It could be your
or your
grandfather, it could be your
father,
uncle,
or
it
your
could be
uncle.
you see what I'm saying? Whoever that male figure was and how he interacted with you is how you're going to act in relationships, right? But what we're always seeking to do, right, is fix the relationship we had with our mother. And we do this subsequently through the people we meet. This is why I'm saying it won't matter what state you go to. It doesn't matter what city you go to. Because the mind that created the problem is going to go with you. You see what I'm saying? So just by understanding that, you begin to already notice a shift, a change in your own mind. Like, wait a minute, that makes sense. I can start to see, and it may even cause you to think about some relationships you've been in and how that relates to that. Because I was in the same situation. You think I didn't date my mother either? No. We all, I'm right. And listen, I was always trying to be the hero. I was always trying to be understanding. I didn't want to argue. I was willing to take the L. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It didn't fix anything because that wasn't the problem.
You want me to tell you how I know you're right? I live in Philly, but I'm originally from Maryland.
Big up to Philly. Bronx, so I got a big up Philly, yo. We used to go up there, yo.
Got you. Damn, I forgot what I was saying.
You're from the Bronx. You live in Philly. No, that's what he said. You're from Philly, but I don't know. Something about Philly.
Oh, I'm from Maryland, but I live in Philly. But I can't remember
There
what
you
the thought was behind it.
When you were a kid.
Let's go on. It'll come back. I'm
it's all
getting
good.
older. It'll come back in a minute.
But I think it's very. Listen, there's no generation that's done this before us. This actual subject matter, right? And what's going to be interesting in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, what these convalescent homes are going to look like.
They're gonna be full of young people because the nursing home. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one thing that people don't necessarily take into factor is this generation after us has walked on more cement or will walk on more cement than any other generation prior to us that we know of, right? And that means a lot. Impact on bones, impact on back, impact on knees. There's a lot more those kinds of injuries. I'm just speaking in future tense because we're talking about men healing, right? And what that's going to look like at a certain age. So most of them, my buddies, we got back issues or knee issues. I ain't gonna lie. It's something's causing you some sort of pain, right? Now, prior, we would be in relationships. People would be married to their 60s and 70s and don't never get divorced. You just work it out. We had support. How are men gonna deal with this? And not being in the kind of shape they be in, not being healthy mentally and or physically. How are they going to deal with this in the next 20 years? Because this is a reality. This is a reality. Like, it's a real thing that's coming.
That's what we bring it to the table. I'm gonna tell you how you deal with it, right? I'm gonna teach you something right now. Not you, because we already in the same world. Listen, there's something called body syndromes. Okay, there's a saying that goes, what the brain can't handle, it puts off in the mind. And what the mind can't handle, it puts off in the body.
Stress and sickness.
You see, you understand? Now,
Mhm.
each part of your body represents a different field and energy and emotion. Okay? Finances, because they weigh on our mind so much, they weigh in what we call the crying syndrome area, which is the head. This is why, and the shoulders, right? And the chest. This is why when
The
you have
weight of the
financial,
world on your shoulders.
right? And also your lower back. This financial. And see, when it's lower back, it's because issues of money you don't want nobody to know about. It's a secret. It's weighing you down, right? Your knees. May have a problem with knees. Why? Because they don't give. Your knees do what? They bend. They're there for what? Just like a tree, help you able to stay strong by being able to give and bend. But what happens when you become too rigid? Get bad knees. Most athletes that mess their ankle up and permanently damage themselves, it wasn't an accident.
Mhm.
It wasn't an accident. It was a subconscious issue. Your mind is not programmed to hurt you. It's programmed to keep you safe. Keeping you safe, they consciously come across as sabotage. But for the mind, it isn't. It's just trying to keep you safe.
Which is the fight, flight, or freeze, keeping you safe.
You see what I'm saying? So if the unknown is like pain to the mind, right? When you talk about making a change and your mind is not familiar with it, it's unknown. It's not going to do it. And this is why you try to do things, just keep going wrong. And your response is to go back to what you was doing. Right? So what we want to do is we're putting a program together for men. We're going to help men work with their subconscious mind. We're going to help them make the right suggestions to their self, teach them self-hypnosis, right? Help them learn how to change. Let me tell you something. If you change your state, you change your behavior, you change your life. Okay? You're not going to change your behavior without changing your state.
And you can't heal a lie. Cannot heal a lie.
Here's I actually had to do a lot of healing in this process because I was really bitter and I didn't have like this particular union of men that you're talking about. I didn't have that. You know, some of my friends weren't even going through some of the things that I was going through at that time, and I was in a household full of women. You know, and it wasn't until I got out and got away from the things that were done to me and got into my own life. Here's what I was getting ready to say earlier. When I believe, I absolutely 100% believe you that we seek out our mom, because the women that I dated when I first moved to Philly, I didn't realize it until I got older. You know, my mom was a pistol. She was a handful, and those are the type of women that I had a tendency to gravitate to. But it was a lot of toxic stuff. But as a young man, you don't see that. You seek out what was familiar. Even with the friends, I tried to make similar friends. You remind me of such and such. You remind me of this person. It wasn't until I started realizing a lot of the damage that was done to me, and I started going through the therapy. And another thing that helped me through it was the ability to be able to just stop and breathe and just focus. And just like the better I became at that, the less stressed I was, the less I got sick, the less I had like brain fog and just would be in the middle of a stressful situation and everything would just go off track.
Was it
It
something
just,
that happened that caused you to go to therapy that made you realize that you needed to go to therapy?
It was a lot of things that happened, but unfortunately, we only got a couple of hours. So,
I mean, but there was one thing that you're like, yo, I need to go to therapy right now, right? And that was that your breaking point, or was that just your
it
realization like,
definitely
oh,
it definitely was.
okay,
In 2006, my mother and my grandmother died
mm,
8 months apart from cancer.
mm,
We buried my mother the day before Mother's Day, and we buried my grandmother a couple of days before Christmas.
mm,
So it's certain holidays that for a while gave me a problem,
mm,
but during that year, I also found out, how you always look at your family a certain type of way. And then when you actually really, really get the gist of who these people actually really are,
Mhm.
it blows your mind.
Yes.
Like if it wasn't happening in front of you,
yeah,
you would not believe that. You
yeah,
wouldn't believe that that was coming out of those people.
mhm,
Mhm.
And I was forced to leave everything that I worked for and go back home and take care of my family. And when I tell you that my family did everything that they could, my siblings did everything that they could to run me away, including getting groups of people to try to attack me over welfare.
Mm.
Me coming back home blocked them from getting the welfare. And I'm like, I spent half my life providing for y'all. And y'all really, these are my blood siblings.
Mhm.
Y'all really gonna do this to me? Our mother just died. Our grandmother just told us that she's dying. And you gonna do this to me over welfare? Who gets the voucher? I'm living in another state on my own. I don't need this damn voucher. And between losing them so close together and just seeing the reality of and realizing that my life with my family had been pretty much a lie.
mm,
And it just with the all of the other types of abuse that I had experienced prior to that and the rejections and yeah, when I got to that point, it was just like life became totally different. Like the curtain had been pulled off the whole thing.
mm,
And now I actually had to actually accept the reality of what I thought my family life and relationships was to actually what was forced down my throat as to this is actually what your life is. This is actually how your family feels about you. This is how the people that you spent half of your life taking care of feels about you. That sent me into therapy because in my mind, I didn't just bury my mother and my grandmother. I buried my siblings too.
mm,
So I had to get back to Pennsylvania and regroup. And it took me a couple of years of therapy. For a couple of years, I didn't go outside of going to work, going to the grocery store, going to the laundromat.
mhm,
And that was the best thing for me to get myself together because had I been out in the world still trying to function like I normally did, I would have been into things.
Mhm.
I don't believe that if I had went continue to try to be out in the world at that point in time, if I would still be an addiction free man. I've never had an addiction, but I know if I was out in the world at that state of mind at that time, I needed something.
mhm.
I needed something. And luckily I grabbed on to therapy instead of something that an addiction.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it
it's
seemed
so
like it
easy.
really helped. It seemed like it
Yeah.
really helped. It seemed like you picked up some good stuff from there. Did it work for you, the therapy?
Yes, it did. Like it took me from not being able to control my emotions and little things just making me fall apart to honestly being more impervious to certain things than I was before all this happened. Like some heartbreak is a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
And some people don't believe that there actually could be a lesson and
Hmm.
salvation in disaster, but that's where it lies.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes you have to go through things in order to get to that next chapter, or sometimes you have to go through things for what you're being prepared for.
Hmm.
So, whereas to when I was a younger man, I really resented the things that were done to me. As a 50-year-old man about to hit 51, I'm grateful
Hmm.
because I survived.
Hmm.
And if those things hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't have survived. And
Hmm.
as simple as that, you know.
Mm,
The only like I have everything that I really want in my life. Companionship is the only thing that really eludes me.
mm. Well,
That's it.
that's a part of the story, and I'm gonna tell you a little. This is a little bit of philosophy. It's my own philosophy, right? But uh, you might find when you ponder it and think about it for yourself, you might come to some sort of new awareness that you didn't even know you were aware of. But it goes like this: you're always right, and I know what you're gonna tell me. You're gonna tell me I've been wrong, I made mistakes, things ain't always gone right. I'm not always right. And you know what I'm gonna say to you? Aren't you right about that?
I get it. I get it.
So what becomes the real question? What do you want to be right about? See, because you're always right and the world is always your assumption.
You know, the crazy thing I think is that when we are processing our pains as humans, we expect everyone else to understand that process. Right.
Right.
And no one gives a shit, honestly. No one cares. Like no one cares. And that's the
People are
sad part. Like it used to be so
yeah,
different before, man. Now it's
right.
like, man, if you can't get it, bro, good luck. But I think that contributes to a lot of mental illness as well. Because we just don't have the vehicle. Like where are the barbershops? Where are the you can't go get your hair cut for $10 no more. You can't get your
No,
haircut
you
for
definitely can't.
$20 no more. You can
No.
barely get your haircut for less than $40 now, right? Like
Yeah.
$40 is like cool, cut and shave, like $40, like, all right, like, but there is no place where you can just go and just be and listen and learn. And those places don't exist anymore. Like we had the barbershop. At the barbershop down the street from my house, it was a boogie joint and a barbershop. So it was always
It's,
traffic up in there, and they was dropping
it's
gems.
the,
I was go hang out.
but that's something that we really need. That's something that our community deprives itself of because they force us to be invincible. And even with your boys, even with your homies, I know for a long time I had a hard time talking about sensitive things. And my peoples growing up thought I was the happiest person on the planet. Despite everything I was going through, I looked out for everybody. I was a peacemaker. Everybody could come to me when they had a problem. I would always help out. These people had no idea what kind of hell I was actually going through. So they just see me as this happy-go-lucky, jolly person that is always happy, and I wasn't that under my skin. I wasn't that at all. I just didn't want anybody to know what I was going through.
I
And
understand
I was
that
a
feeling.
tap dance. I tap dance for them. I put on a show. And I kept their eyes over here so they wouldn't see what was actually going on over here.
Mhm.
Trust me.
And
Yeah,
how
I know
much
that.
how much did you die inside from doing that?
A little bit every day. I was a good natured person. You know, a large part of my personality was natural. I was raised by older people. I was raised mostly by my grandparents. So, you know, that the gentleman in me, that stuff was real. But like I said, it also it put me in a position to be used the majority of my life.
Mm.
You know, so now that now that I've grown past a lot of things, I have a tendency to. I know that if I keep gravitating to the same type of people, I'm just going to get the same type of thing. But now that I'm trying to gravitate to different groups, different kinds of people, now I'm in a time where people don't really want to be bothered. People don't want to be bothered. They don't want to commit. Everything is microwave. They want everything in 3 seconds, and they want everything to their specifications.
Hey Tim, you know, you're right. Because you're always right.
But what man wants that? Well, I can't. I take that question back. I don't want that.
Well, here's the thing. You got it. You know why? Because you're the only one that can experience the world for you.
That is true.
That's why. Right? You
Right.
see, the world is a story.
Everybody has a different story.
Nobody was here when this started. Right? You
That's
came
right.
out of a womb like I came out of a womb. And that's all we really know.
Right.
Right? So your whole perception of reality right now is a construct, a map that you created of the world based on your experiences and what you think has happened in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're navigating the world from that map. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Right? Every day is new. Every day holds mystery because you don't know what the hell's going to happen when you walk out the door.
That's true.
That's a fact. You can't tell me what bird's going to fly first, where it's going to come from, how many fly, how many bugs is in the air today, how many rats run by, how many cats and dogs there are, how many homeless people going to walk down the street today. You don't know a lot. You know
Right.
this much. You know what that this much is? Me. That's what you know. Right?
Right.
And it's a story you've told yourself that has an energetic hold, emotional grip. Right? Well, we can let it go because we're the ones holding on to the story. Right?
And
so
that story also, I'm sorry, I'm not, you finished. That story also goes to what you attract as well. Go ahead, Talib. I'm sorry. Just had to throw that in there.
You have something in your mind called a reticular activating system. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
The reticular activating system is the part of the brain that shows you what you're looking at in the world. When you have an ideal for something, and I'm going to show you when it's been active in your life. Have you ever got a new pair of I'm a sneakerhead from back in the day, okay? So when I got a new pair of sneakers, I was feeling crispy, okay? Very crispy.
We all do.
All right, but you thinking I got them, I'm the first on the block with them, I'm fresh, and all of a sudden you walk out of Foot Locker, you get about 3 blocks, and now you start seeing them everywhere. Everybody's wearing the shoes now. And you think, yo, did everybody go buy them when I bought them? Or did they already have them? I didn't see anybody with them. Why am I seeing them everywhere? That's your reticular activating system. See, when you resonate with something, doesn't matter if it's bad or good. When you resonate with something, its job is to give it to you in this world. There's so much happening right now. I'm going to show you because I'm going to allow you to become aware of the sounds in the room. As you now become aware of your own breathing, you may become aware of sounds outside the room. Okay. Now, all that information was already there. You just wasn't paying your attention. So they got brought into your focus. Life is just like that. So you have this perpetual story right now. I can't find a woman. I mean, I'm the guy now I want to be, right? And I broke away and got everything else together, but damn it, I'm in the wrong era.
And that
You
last
don't
part is
pursue.
literally what I be saying to myself. What I be saying to myself is my type of affection is outdated. People don't want that anymore. People don't do that anymore. And it's not always at the back of my mind, but it's in there.
It's in there. It's always in there because it's what you believe. So sometimes it's at the forefront because it's being reinforced and showing you, look what we believe.
I believe it from my experiences, though.
Right. But every experience, see, we developed this 10,000 years, the human brain, right? When we were tribal, right? We had to learn generalizing. Don't eat them fucking plants. They're dangerous. And they kill you. Okay? Those animals are predator. So I don't even have to know which that one is. I could make a general consensus that everything over there is dangerous. Do you understand? Now, that part of your brain ain't modernized. It's still there. It generalizes things to keep you safe. Right? So, and it uses it based on your experiences. But the experiences is your moment in time that doesn't exist anymore. Check and see right now for me. Just check in your own mind and tell me where the past begins and right now starts. Where's that line? Is there even a line?
No, because it's continually changing.
And let me tell you another secret about your past. They teach us this. This is the stuff that, for men, will change how we do things if we know these things. Because we will address it differently. And we'll make a plan of action to handle it. Right? But you don't have a place in your brain where your memories are. Did you know that? There's not a place in your head where what happened to you as a child is just sitting there. Every time you go to think about it, every place all over the brain has to reconstruct data, put stuff back together. Some stuff is like, oh shit, we don't have that no more. Fill it in. Make it make sense.
It all actually makes sense.
And then it becomes a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Until it's so far removed from what actually happened. You don't know what really happened.
Right.
You just are resonating with the emotional cadence that was left behind.
Gotcha.
Right? So that woman you talk about, she exists. She probably is your neighbor and you didn't even know it.
I'm going to be honest. I walk around in Philly with my blinders on. So you could be absolutely 100% right. Because I went through a point where I got tired of being disappointed. And after I got tired of being disappointed, I stopped seeking. If I see something appealing, I look, but I stopped seeking. I stopped going out on the prowl. You know what I'm saying? I stopped,
Now, when you travel, do you leave the country?
No, okay. I haven't been out of the country. Mostly up and down the East Coast and in the South.
Okay. Gotcha. No, because you said when you travel, you feel free. Why do you feel that freedom when you travel?
So, I'm in a new place. New things to do, new things to see.
Is it that no one knows you and you could be who your true self is?
No one knows me and I can come out of survival mode. Okay. That's what it feels like. It feels like the second I step out of this city, I come out of survival mode. And I literally feel it. When I hit the international airport, I literally feel my entire body change when I'm coming back into the city.
Hmm. Do you so essentially what you're talking about is what one of the reasons why I decided to get into hypnotherapy. Excuse me, sorry about that. I realized that just as a black man in America, and this is just not a typical black subject, but I'm just saying as a black man in America in particular, I wake up in the morning. I and I'm not speaking of me. I'm speaking just in general. Wake up in the morning, and the option is to smoke or not to smoke, right? To calm myself. And then once I get up and calm myself, I go outside. I'm double back. I'm looking through the window or through my front door, figuring out who the hell that who's out here. And then I get into my car. If you have a car, and then you are constantly looking and or driving through that rearview mirror constantly, right? So at what point do your nerves get to relax? And then when you get out of that car, you out looking through through the windows and the car door. You're trying to see who's out there. At what point do you relax? And part of the reason why I also was getting this because I want to teach people how to calm the nervous systems and how to control it and have some different vehicles of being able to bring that anxiety down.
Mhm.
But I think the most important part is recognizing it, and I think you have said you recognize it. But now you don't even know that you can be calm everywhere you are and not be in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. That you are do what you said in survival mode and feeling. Because when you leave, you're not in that mode, which tells me that you can have a session with someone and we can help you out in Philly and be in that fight or flight or freeze mode. Because the whole time right now is about comfort, right? And
It
being comfortable
is.
where you are, being comfortable where you are, and also you will attract once you let that side of you down too. Once you're not living in that fight or flight or freeze mode, in which you are in Philly.
Yeah, because I have a tendency to draw hostility, and it confused
Hmm.
me for a long time because I'm not a hostile person. You have to make me that person. But I kept drawing hostility, and it's the armor. It's it's the armor. It's so strong that it's to some people it's offensive. Like when I walk into a room, I know I'm gonna have problems out of two people: the alpha and the one with the most insecurities. Every room I walk into, there's always conflict with those two people: the alpha and the one who has low self-esteem and insecurities. Every room.
And why is that?
Why do you think?
Because, well, I mean, now that I realize I have been living that way for so long, I didn't recognize it because it was just normal. If it's what felt normal until I started going through therapy, and then I developed PTSD during COVID, during that lockdown. I, my anxiety was so bad that I had to go for walks, and they wouldn't be like 30 minutes. They would be like an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Just being locked down like that, and that was the first time in my life as a man that I couldn't take care of myself because there were no jobs. And I never realized until that moment in time how much not being able to provide for myself bothered me. Like it bothered me to the point where it bothered me mentally
Hmm.
not to be able to provide for myself because I had never had my hands tied behind my back like that before, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's that's the PTSD and trying to get myself back to the person I was before COVID. That's where I learned how to just block everything out, knock everything out, and just focus. And the more I would do that, the less problems I would have with my stomach, the less headaches I would have, the less fatigue I would have. You know, I was actually able to join in a conversation and not get agitated by it, the slightest little thing. Yeah, it's a process.
Where would you say you at on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
I would say I'm 7.
7?
I would say I'm 7.
Okay. Would you be open to try something?
Uh,
I'm just opening up. We talking, but here we like to get results. We like to show. I can. He can. We would love to share something with you. It's very simple. Uh, it's nothing where nobody's trying to control you or take you over. This is not how any of the things we do actually works, right? This is just a mere process of going within your own self and maybe helping you bring that number down a little bit. But that's your choice. We can just keep.
Go ahead.
You interested?
Yes.
Good. So just do me a favor and this is going to be a very simple little process. It's going to help you relax. Okay. All you have to do is follow my simple instructions and go along, right? And you will have a nice hypnotic experience. Okay.
Take your glasses off.
Wait, you about to hypnotize me?
Well, it's meditational hypnosis, yeah.
Or here? I don't know, bro. If I start clucking like a chicken, I don't want that on tape.
That's what I was afraid you would. No, actually, I knew you would say that. No, here's the thing. See, the beautiful thing. Notice, I keep telling you, I don't do stage hypnotism. That's a different thing. Nobody, and I'm gonna give the whole audience. I'm like the guy who's blowing the David Blaine tricks. Remember the guy who was out there like magic secrets revealed. Let me just give a little thing off the lid with stage hypnotism. Stage hypnotism works because they look for people that are considered to be somnambulists. These are people that can take in either type of suggestions. When they get them onto the stage, they make an agreement with them. They tell them something that goes like this. Look, I can't just hypnotize you, but if you would like to feel what it's like to be hypnotized and participate, we can. Now, here's what they'll tell them. They'll tell them, you remember what it was like being a kid? And they'll say, yeah. Remember how you could just imagine and your mind would just go really fast and all of a sudden you was living that thing? Yeah, well, guess what? Your imagination, that imagination as a child is still there. And if you allow me to, right? At any point you don't want to, you can just stop. But if you allow me to, right, I'm going to work with your imagination and you're going to get to experience that kid-like wonder again. Would you like to do that? Yeah, okay. So just listen to any instructions I give, no matter how silly they are. What did I just do? You see what I'm saying? The whole point was the people that go up there, they want to be a part of the show. They're not being told, listen, just do whatever I tell you. No, they agree to listen to those suggestions. I can't give you a suggestion that goes against what you believe. You understand? No one can hypnotize you like and tell you, give me your money or do this weird thing because you're not asleep. You're okay. And you're very alert. You're going to do so. You may ask yourself, am I hypnotized?
Okay.
Right? And the reason for this is just to help you relax. Okay? Bring that energy down and just show you the power of your own wonderful mind. Right? And it's going to help with some of the things you're talking about. And you're going to see that this is how we would work with people to get them to get a little more control over what they think is happening to them. Right? And a lot of it has to do with we can't do anything when we're not relaxed. Right? So the whole purpose of this is just to help you get into that relaxed state and let go of some of that stress. Sound good?
Sure.
Right. So, first of all, just make sure both feet are on the floor. Mm-hmm. And just go ahead and take your glasses off for me. I don't want them to fall off your face or anything. Okay. Now, trust me, this is very easy. Very easy. Okay? All I'm gonna have you do is just find a point where the wall meets the ceiling. Good.
Okay.
And just take a deep breath for me. Deep, full breath. And just bring your attention to that spot. And now, what you're going to do is just, while you stare at that spot, just picture three things around you in that room. It may be the side of the wall, it might be your pants leg. Just bring three additional things in and deep breathing. And notice that your eyes are just blinking very naturally. And as you do that, just bring in three sounds that you hear around you. It may be the sound of your breathing. It may be the sound of my voice or the sounds in the room. And you notice your eyes getting a little heavy and wanting to close. That's very natural. And just keep breathing and notice three things you feel. It might be the chair beneath you or your hands on your lap. And at some point, you're going to want to close your eyes very naturally, and that's okay. And as you begin to stare at that point, just notice two things around you that you see as your eyes get heavier and your breath gets deeper. And then you notice three sounds and two sounds you hear around you as you notice those. And those eyes are very heavy. And just go ahead and at any point you're ready, just let your eyes close on your exhale. As you notice two things you feel. And just close the eyes and sleep. Deep sleep. There you go. Let it go. Just let the eyes go. Deeply relax. And just breathe in deep. And go ahead and bring your attention, your awareness to the top of your head. And go ahead and relax your scalp. You may feel a warm sensation, a tingling vibration as that warmth moves down your forehead. And just relax your forehead. And let that relaxation move down into your eyes, deep into the eye sockets, every muscle, fiber, and cell turning loose, letting loose. You take a deep breath and relax your eyes. As your eyes become heavier and heavier, so heavy that if you were to try to open them, no matter how much you would try, you wouldn't be able to open them. And when you feel like your eyes are that heavy, I want you to go ahead and try to open them and see you can't open them. That's good. Now bring your head down. Look at me. Bring your head down. Look at me. Very good. Good. That was excellent. Now, while you're focused on me, just take a deep breath. And breathe out. And take another deep breath in. And breathe out. And on this third breath, breathe in. And go ahead and just let your eyes close. Breathing out. And continue that nice breathing rhythm because your body knows how to breathe. You've been breathing all your life. Now, as you begin to sit there in that wonderful, comfortable breath, I'm going to tell you a little story. Now, our human body is amazing and wonderful and fully capable of so many things. When you were a baby, you didn't know how to walk. You didn't know how to move. And you felt no kind of concern about what people thought about you. You only knew acceptance. And as you continue to breathe, you may begin to recall that time of acceptance because your body still knows it. And there was a time when you were confident and that everything went your way. It may have been just a moment in time, but your body, it remembers. So just take a deep breath in and breathe out and allow yourself to just go deep into that personal place of you and just relax. And as you breathe in, deep breathe in, notice the relaxation spreading through your body as you exhale. I can't do anything for you. Only you can do this. Only you can allow yourself to relax even deeper. So as you take a breath in, give yourself permission to relax. Good. And open your eyes for me for a second. Open your eyes for me. And close your eyes again for me. Just close your eyes. It's okay. Because this is all you're doing. And I'm going to show you how deeply you can relax. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and to look at me. And when I say deep sleep, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to go even deeper. So open your eyes and look at me. And deep sleep. Close your eyes. Good. Let your eyes close. Open your eyes and look at me. Good. And deep sleep. Let your eyes close. Just let them go. Each time going deeper and deeper. Open your eyes and look at me. And deep sleep. Close your eyes. Let them go. Let them go. Going 5 times, 10 times deeper. Good. Each and every time. For the purpose of hypnosis and with your permission, you will enter into this state very easily, quickly, and calmly, and your physical body will relax. Now, Tim, I'm going to count down from 5 to 0. And with each key count, you're going to go deeper into that wonderful relaxation that you're creating. So 5, going deeper. 4, deeper into your own self, your own relaxation, drifting and floating. 3, 2, 1, and 0 is deep sleep. Each and every time I suggest the words deep sleep for the purpose of hypnosis and with your permission, you can enter into this state very easily, quickly, and calmly, and your physical body will relax. Now, I'm going to have you take 5 deep breaths in. And with each breath you take in, you're going to breathe in confidence, reassurance, and openness to change and wonderful possibility. And on the exhale, you're going to release and let go everything that doesn't serve you. So breathing in 1, letting go. Very good. Breathing in, all that wonderful confidence and relaxation and calm. Good. Yes, very good. Breathing in that calm and relaxation. Now, Tim, this is all you're doing. This is for you. I want you to imagine a path before you. And on that path is a mirror, a beautiful full length standing mirror. And I want you to walk over to that mirror, Tim. And in that mirror is the desired version of you from head to toe. And as you look in that mirror, I want you to analyze yourself, the confidence, the assurance, and begin to notice. You can look into them. And notice what you see. And notice how it makes you feel. Now, Tim, I want you to let that version of you walk out of the mirror and stand in front of you. And at this time, Tim, you can ask that version of you any question you like. That's good. That's very good. Now, Tim, I want you to allow that version of you to step inside of you and become one with you. I'm going to count from 5 to 0. And when I reach 0, that version of you will be integrated into you at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and integration. Now, Tim, I want you to turn around and notice that there's a well lit staircase behind you with a wonderful handle and beautifully lit, and it's 10 stairs going up. Now, we're going to take this newfound feeling and this new you, and we're going to bring it up the stairs. Starting at 1 with your left foot, stepping up with your right foot to 2, 3, 4, integrating more and more with each step as a wonderful feeling washes over. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is deep sleep. Each and every time I suggest the words deep sleep with the purpose of hypnosis and your permission, you will enter into this state very easily, quickly, and calmly, and the physical body will relax. Now, Tim, imagine a control room. And I want you to walk toward that control room and open the door and notice that behind that door is a panel. And on that panel, there are 3 knobs. One knob says confidence. One knob says self-love. And the other last one says belief in myself. I want you to walk over to those dials and put your hand on the one that says confidence and notice where the dial is. Notice if it sits low And I want you to go ahead now, Tim, I want you to turn that dial up as high as it can go and notice how you feel. That wonderful feeling of confidence coming over you. Good. Now, go ahead and turn that knob back down to where it was. Now I want you to bring it up just a little bit higher than what it was. And go over to the knob that says self-love and notice where it is. And I want you to turn that knob all the way up, Tim, and notice that feeling, that wonderful feeling of self-love overwashing and overcoming you. I'll just let you sit in that for a minute. That's good, very good. Now go ahead and turn it back down to where it was. Now raise it higher than where it originally was so you feel good. And I want you to leave it right there. Now I want you to go to the knob, Tim, that says self-belief. And notice where it sits. And I want you to turn that knob all the way up and notice what it feels like to believe in yourself. To know that you can have what you want in this world with the right state of mind and the right belief and the right level of confidence and the right self-love. Just notice. Now bring it back down where it was. Turn it up a little bit higher than what it was. And leave it there. Wonderful. Now, Tim, I'm going to ask your subconscious mind for the next several days in the early morning hours to allow you to have venting dreams, visual, very visual, venting dreams of what no longer serves you anymore. And those dreams are going to help you release and move and step into that version. Your subconscious mind has a lot to share with you. And there's a lot of your own knowings to become aware of. And as you become more aware of your own knowings and your own learnings, you can utilize them too. Now, I don't know if you'll become aware of that now or aware of that in the next breath that you take. But Tim, I'm going to count from 0 to 5. And when I reach 5, you'll open your eyes, feeling wide awake and revitalized. Bringing back with you all of the positive from this experience. So 0 is blocking all negativity, blocking the door to the subconscious mind, bringing back all of the wonderful new discoveries of your own mind and your own making. 1, coming back into the room. 2, beginning to feel your body. 3, when I count to 5, you'll open your eyes, feeling wide awake, invigorated, and wonderfully charged. 4 and 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. Tim, come on back to us.
We sleep, huh? Wake Tim up.
Hey, Tim. You could come on back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake.
There we go.
You needed that, brother. You needed that.
Nice journey.
You needed that, man. How you feel?
You want to go back to sleep?
I want to go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You feel relaxed, right? Maybe like you're out of town.
I was definitely on vacation.
Wonderful. That's my gift to you, brother.
Well, I hope it lasts through the night because that was a good sleep. That was the
You get good sleep
shit.
today.
How long was I going?
About a
Oh,
half hour. About a half hour.
well, I would say 15, 20 minutes that was, right?
About a half hour. You got about 30 good minutes. I think so.
Thank you.
So that's what a session feels like afterwards. If you feel good and relaxed, you feel better than you felt when you came in, and that's really our
Wow.
goal to help everyone feel better than they felt
You
before they
look
came
super
in.
relaxed too. Your face muscles, you just look much more.
Well, I mean, I knew I needed some rest, but I really realized how bad I need rest. So that felt great.
That's as men, we don't we I'm gonna tell you number one problem with men. We don't get enough sleep. We don't get enough rest.
Mhm.
I can't sit down. It feels like it's always something that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And it's
That's what
burning our body out over time.
Mhm.
I got to find a way to stop that.
Don't worry, we got you. We got you.
Mhm.
My mind never
I think I think
stops.
I I think you need to have a full session with Talib. I think he would benefit you tremendously. Um, Especially based on some of the things that you discussed already. And
Mm.
I think there's really a gateway for you to do some real, like you could find yours is easy. He can, like, it literally is because it's very obvious. And he can guide you there, and he's already proved he can guide you. I think if you have 3 sessions, that'd be a great start. Um, because of just based on what I think is there and what I think you get full, like, you don't need much work, but you want to get it, you want it to be meaningful. And that's why I said 3 sessions would be great for you.
Right.
Especially if
Well,
you
look,
hadn't got sleep like that and you're like, yo, I need sleep like this. That's very easy for us to help you with your sleep.
look, Tim. I'm gonna let you step down so you could get that rest. I want you to get that rest, and that was what I want to thank you for coming up and talking with us. We really appreciate it, and people watching, you see, you know, thank you, Tim.
Hey Tim, I'm
Believe it
gonna
or
say
not, you
anything.
helped a lot of people
Just
out by showing that it's not a threat, that what we do isn't dangerous, and we're not in control of nobody.
yeah.
Well,
And I'm gonna
I
say
mean,
this. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snap out of it, Tim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes awake. You snap out of it. Just want to make sure before you leave here that you're okay and you're out of it. You're out of it, nonsense. So.
I'm not out of it yet, but I am going to be as soon as I get off this podcast.
All right, well, I'm gonna
So,
let you go, man. Get some rest, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta thank Peach for nudging me to hop on this show. I definitely owe her. I
oh,
appreciate y'all, brother. Hopefully, we get to talk more.
oh yeah, man. Come on back next week. Come back next week, brother. We have some more stuff to discuss.
I'm with it. I will see y'all next Friday.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I'm be real curious to see what your unconscious mind has to share with you by the time I speak to you again. So it's gonna
Okay.
be a
Well,
good journey.
I'm getting ready to find out. I'm getting ready to talk to it right now. Let's see.
All right.
Yeah. So
Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate this.
that's good. Good stuff. Good stuff. So we're at that hour, huh? We're at that time,
Yeah,
Talib,
yeah.
or
We definitely are at that time. You know.
All right,
another good show
All right,
in the
Tim.
books.
all right, y'all.
See
Y'all
you.
have a good one.
Nice to meet you,
You
man.
too.
Take care, brother. That's another good show under the books. I
I
think it
think.
was some very very good dialogue here tonight. Um, yeah, that was a great demonstration of, and that was quick. That was a really quick induction. And that shows actually what you can do. And he actually said, "I haven't slept like that," and that was what he got. A, when he laid down, eventually, that was like 10 minutes, right? and it's probably some of the best sleep he's had in like 2 months.
Yeah, he
You
was
know,
pretty resistant in the beginning to it, and I knew that.
oh, he was
So
fidgeting and moving around, and
yeah,
yeah,
so I understood what kind of work we needed to do together to get him where he needed to go. You know what I'm saying? But
that's good.
yeah,
Good
yeah, man,
demonstration.
yeah, and that's just a little bit of what we do, man. It gets we tailor this stuff to everybody we deal with. This is not
Mhm.
one size fit all.
No, it's not.
It's
It
really
definitely
not.
isn't.
And if Tim ever comes to me, we're gonna sit down and I'm gonna do all the tests with him.
Mhm.
I'm gonna show him exactly where these things are coming from. We're gonna
Mhm.
and I'm gonna give him something that tangible that he can wrap his mind around with and
Mhm.
understand. So when we do that kind of work, it means something. That's the subconscious mind gets it. It respects it and is willing to accept it. And that's the power. That's the thing. And I think that was a good understanding of why we spoke to him the way we did. Why he the way he expressed himself was wonderful. So we gotta give Tim take the hat off of Tim. You know what I'm saying? Salute
Mhm.
Big Tim because it takes a real man to get up here and express himself and share like that and allow that to happen and be
Mhm.
vulnerable. So let that be an example to some of the other guys out there. Like, look, we're not here to like strip nobody. You see for yourself. We're not taking control of nobody, right? But
Mhm.
look at how he was before. If he was a 7, he definitely was at a 1 after that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, man, it was instant. And like he instantly took down whatever his anxiety was when he came in or his frustration. He don't even remember it anymore. He's just like, what were we talking about yesterday? He doesn't even.
Right?
He's like,
Because it
man, that was such a nice trip. He's like, and the beautiful thing is, even though he was dry and he was working himself out of it, he was like, wow, man, that was amazing. Like he really felt the effects immediately, which was I think is just even more beautiful because it literally tells me that you're doing the right thing. Like you were in the right line of business and you're doing the right thing. If you can have an effect on that after an hour long conversation with someone and literally change his day or his attitude, that's fucking amazing. I'm sorry, it just is. It is, and you should be happy about the decisions that you've made to progress in your career, bro. You're doing excellent. Just to let you know
thank you.
that.
Thank you. I appreciate man, listen. I appreciate that. He hit him with you don't even know this man over here with the powers in his hand. Man. Oh, you see the dark parts in my hand. You see how a little dark
Yeah,
in here.
yeah,
That's from
yeah,
the
yeah.
Iron Hand. When I was talking about the
Got
Iron Hand, I did all the
it.
years. Yeah, that's how I got that. But man, this has been a great show. It actually went longer. Like this is, I mean, well, we really want to pick up steam. We really want to uh, get this out there, right? Um, we encourage you to come up. We encourage you to come participate, to speak, right? As I said, we will always offer techniques and do things to actually help people, right? Because we want you to get the help that you feel you want and need,
Mhm.
right? We do offer sessions, right? Our links and everything is in the description. Um, so if you would like a session, if there's some things you want to work on, we do the free consultation. So you're welcome to call and we do a discovery and just speak and see what we need to work on so we can figure out if we're a good fit. And plus, we can also work out what's the best plan for you. The plan for you is not going to be the plan for the next person.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We're doing something specialized to the individual, not just you know willy nilly and everybody's got to fall into it. No, 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 no. Everyone is unique. Everyone is a fingerprint. Everyone carries a unique energetic signature that cannot be duplicated by no other person.
Mhm.
And that's what we
Well,
came to communicate with. So, Pete, you around? Come on in here real quick, Pete, before we get out of here.
yeah, Peach, where are you?
I know you here. We wouldn't have no show if you wasn't here.
Hmm.
She gonna come up. Watch. Give her 2 seconds.
I think it was
She
some really good conversation, and the men actually jumped in. They jumped in tonight, which I thought was awesome. I had I didn't think it would have much involvement, but I think it was a subject that frankly care about, which was good. and hopefully we can bring this to you, bring up subject matters that are very uncommon that we need to start preparing ourselves for.
Yeah, and there's a big community of people out there that's in the life coaching, and people want to talk about Neville Goddard and Carl Jung and these various people, man. And uh, we do the same thing. We so sometimes our conversations are going to be about how manifestation works, right? Because there's a neuroscience to it, right?
Mhm.
And we're going to offer tools a little differently than they do, right? Because
Mhm.
we're both master hypnotists, right? And so, and we've studied this in a different perspective, and we're continuing our education to this day. We're still studying, right?
Mhm.
And I encourage anybody out there to go look up HMI, right? And if you look
Mhm.
up HMI, tell them Talib Kearns sent you. Anything you want to say before we I'm
No,
trying to wait for Peach, where you at? Why you ain't come up yet? What is happening?
I don't know. I just actually am grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to tell a little bit about some stories about myself and how what I did to help heal me. And hopefully whoever's listening got something from that. Uh, because I think it's invaluable to turn inwards and don't look for outside gratification when you're hurting. Look inward. That's where the solutions are. Um, so yeah, be on the mind this week.
So I'm reaching out to our producer right now, guys, to see what's going on. Like, where in the
So
world
I
is
guess
our
we're gonna keep
producer?
talking.
Sure. Because I'm gonna
Let's
have her play my little video again. It's not my little video. It's my well put together, well crafted, well thought out, well planned
outro.
outro with some information about what we do as well as some of the things that we offer. So uh, I don't know where she's at, but watch what I do. Hold on 1 second, guys. Just keep talking. Well, you know what's funny though? The good thing is this. This is a really good thing, right? We're not gonna be successful talking for 1 hour. We got to stretch this out for like 2, 3. It seems like the world of podcasting, man. People be up here talking for hours.
Well,
Fortunately, I can
uh,
talk for hours, so we covered on that.
we've been up here for 2.5 hours so far, so I think
I love that kind of stuff. I'm starting to get warm. I got the the
so.
stockbrokers sweat arms. I
Oh
got
yeah,
the
that's why I
sweaty
wore the
spot.
T-shirt today. I want to wear the T-shirt, kind of give a little bit of love to what is it? Cotton Comes to Harlem. There we go. Cotton Comes to Harlem, old classic movie. I am
Hey,
a
was it Lawrence
70s.
Fishburne in that?
No,
No, that's
it was
cornbread.
yeah, it was a Jamal Wilson.
Yeah,
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 Larry Fishburne was in that too.
yeah. Larry Fishburne.
Yeah, Larry Fishburne and Jamal
I
Wilson.
don't want to say that. He might get mad at me.
Well, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. So good stuff. But I'm going to have to tap out if she doesn't come in sooner.
No, that's cool. If we got to tap out, we got to tap out. It's the end of the show.
Yeah.
We want to thank all of y'all for joining. Also we got some. I think we may have had some people from our little circle group in here. So if you're in our circle group, Kiana, Stephanie, who else was it? I think. Let me just shout out my people if they was in here. Jay, yeah, Kiana, SSG, Kiana, Stephanie, Keita, Gabby, Marjan. I
Uh,
had to shout out Marjan,
a lot of people came. Huh? That's cool.
Matthew. I want to thank and all those people I name eventually gonna be on here too because they all are amazing people. They all have wonderful businesses. We're all in the feel good line of work. So we really have some wonderful shows coming up down the line. We're gonna be bringing some very interesting perspectives to it from an array of culture and just I'm just so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. So from me to you, may this day be a service to you. One. And two, I am not here to teach you. I am only here to remind you Thank you for joining us at Beyond the Mind. You can find us in the links in the description. Peach, take it away.